All right, welcome everyone to the Digital Transformation Room and email marketing for The Last of Us. I'm Sam Perrell, and I'm happy to introduce Hank Hoffmeyer. So, Hank is an author, speaker, podcast host, and senior manager of operations at Kickbox, a Ziff Davis company. With a passion for all things digital and social, combined with more than 25 years of experience in sales and marketing, he has been dubbed the digital marketing infotainer because he makes marketing fun and successful. Please welcome Hank.
I'll let you be the judge if I'm good at what I do. And thank you, Sam, for the introduction. All right, how many fans are there in the room of Last of Us? Raise your hand. That's my question to you: is the game, the movie, or the comics, or all three? Who has no idea what The Last of Us is? All right, so there might be one spoiler. I'm going to tell you if you haven't watched it. One spoiler, I promise. That's it. But we'll give you a little intro into what it is, because you might get an added benefit of being here. You're going to go home and watch this show. Then you're going to hate me because you want to watch it. Then you're going to say, well, they didn't do a season 2 yet. Imagine this. You are sitting at home, living your best life. You're Netflix and chilling. Maybe you're scrolling on TikTok, doom scrolling. Or worse yet, you're on ChatGPT, right? Trying to figure out your prompts. Your neighbors are having dinner. Then you hear this noise. It's just a crazy noise. They're eating dinner. And they caught a case of cordyceps, which is a fungus infection. Now they're coming over to your house, screaming, yelling like a zombie because they want to eat you and your family. What do? Well, we're not here today to talk about cordyceps because that's a different problem. We're here to talk about AI and email marketing and how you can survive the email marketing apocalypse, or the marketing apocalypse that's upon us, which is artificial intelligence. I'm going to walk you through the things you can do to use AI with email marketing, but I'm also going to sprinkle in some best practices. And if you're currently using email marketing and you're doing it well, maybe you'll still get some value and tips out of that. But if you're just getting started, you'll get more benefit out of it. My name is Hank Hoffmeyer, as originally introduced, and I'm going to be your guide through this post-apocalyptic event called AI. All right, there was a lot of sessions around AI, and I was in 2 of them yesterday, and they had a lot of timelines of when ChatGPT and certain types of AI were introduced. Can somebody tell me when AI, or artificial intelligence, was invented? Not when it started to become popular, not when ChatGPT started. When was AI invented? Take a stab. A long time ago. That is correct. But that half points for you. I need a year or a decade. 90s, 80s. 70s. Well, we can keep going back because it was actually the 50s. The term AI was coined in the 50s during a Dartmouth workshop exploring the idea of creating machines that can simulate human intelligence. And as we move on, in the 60s and late 40s, AI was focused on symbolic reasoning and logic-based approaches. In the 70s and 80s, kind of like the band that was at the after party last night, there was rule-based systems invented, but they were very limited. Then in the 90s, it was called the AI winter. There really was not a lot of interest in AI, more importantly, because of the lack of funding. And now we move on to the late 90s, there's another resurgence. It started to become popular again. 2010s, there was more breakthroughs in deep learning and some of the things we're seeing now. And more importantly, presently, well, we have AI at home if you have an Alexa device. You know, there's AI has been in email marketing for a while, but we have ChatGPT and all these clones coming out. Amazon's getting into the mix. That's the history. I kind of got worried when I saw those slides yesterday. I was like, oh man, they're stealing my thunder. But I went back further than they did. So now you can go back and brag about how old AI is, not how old and how popular ChatGPT is. How do we exist as marketers during this revolution of everybody using AI? Let's talk about that. There's all these articles out there. They might have been written by ChatGPT as well, with the headlines, the catchy headlines. The death of the marketer is coming. There's going to be no more entry-level marketing jobs. We're going to be out of jobs. The machines are going to take over. There was an analogy yesterday by Mike, if you were in his session, talking about tractors. When they were invented, it was going to kill off the farming industry. A lot of farmers were going to be put out of business. And he used that analogy. And Gary Vaynerchuk makes a great point about that, and I want to play that for you.
I've been looking at AI stuff, machine learning stuff for years as an investor. Hey, when will this happen? And then earlier this fall, ChatGPT, you look at that and you're like, wait a minute, this is real. Like, I can write an entire blog post in 2 minutes. I've seen some counterpoints in social where people are like, this is bad, this is going to take away jobs. And I'm like, wait, if your history, that's what people said about tractors. Tractors were bad. We should make farming machinery that will take away jobs. What happens is when jobs are taken away, new jobs are created.
How many people are using AI technology now to create content? It's kind of like you created a subset of what you do. A lot of times people can cut back on other areas in their business and hire more people that are prompt engineers or people that are going to edit and review all of this content that's being made. We shouldn't be afraid of cordyceps. I'm sorry, not cordyceps, not a fungus. We shouldn't be afraid of AI. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. Is there anyone here that's kind of not really confident using AI? Raise your hand. We won't call you out. Okay. I'm not. I use it almost every day, and I'm still not very confident in what I do. I feel like I'm still using it wrong because it's a new technology. Embrace it. Let's embrace technology, embrace AI, and become better email marketers. It's kind of popular. 80% of marketers are using AI tools. Is there any SMBs in here at all? Small business owners, or do you work with small business owners? All right. Only 30% of SMBs are investing in AI, but they feel like it would help them. We need to give SMBs more confidence. And as professional marketers, we need to learn it so that we can disseminate that information. 64% of businesses are using AI because it increases productivity. It just helps us. Let's not even get into the quality side of it yet, right? Everybody thinks it helps them be productive, but is it generating better content? Kind of depends. Here's my favorite slide. There was one similar yesterday, but what is the favorite tool or the favorite type of content people are making with AI? Do you see it? It's my favorite slide. Email. What are they using? Everybody knows ChatGPT. It's like the Kleenex of the world, right? You can't make a tissue and not be correlated to Kleenex because it's a term. 55% of people are using that. And then there's Copy AI, Jasper AI, PepperType. There's some other ones like Lensa, DALL-E, and Midjourney for images. Let's not fight the robots, because if you did arm wrestle a robot, you'd probably lose, right? Does anybody think they can beat a robot in arm wrestling? No. I would just pour water on them. Got to cheat sometimes, right? That's what you're doing with AI. You're cheating, creating your copy in a way. Proceed with caution when you're using AI. I think that's been a story as well. So just be careful of what you're doing. You might have sensitive data. There was a doctor that went to ChatGPT, or I don't think it was cited which tool, but he put in patient's data and information to help him create some communication with his patient, and it was sensitive data, and it got leaked. Another executive put his, this is in 2022, his 2023 strategy deck to be, not deck, as PDF, so that it can be analyzed and summarized, and that got leaked. I'm not sure if you knew, I mentioned this yesterday, but you can go into ChatGPT and most tools and turn off what's called learning and history. One of I work with a couple different companies, but mostly with Kickbox. But as an organization, if we use the tools, we have to have that turned off. It's a rule. We sign an agreement in using these tools that we're going to turn that off. Now, as my personal brand, as some of the content I make, I use a different account and I keep the historical stuff. So you can turn that off if you want to. Make sure to review your output. I know that's been said probably at least 25 times. I'm probably on the low side of that. But be critical, be very critical in what that output is. And if you're the only one reviewing it, ask a friend, family, coworker to review it as well, because we all think we have the best marketing copy. And we all might think we're the best prompt engineers that produces the best copy, therefore nobody else has to review it. Ask a friend, family, or coworker. Use a lifeline. All right. This is where we get into talking about content with emails and using AI for that. But I want to back up and remind you something before we talk about creating that content. There's something very important that you need to do with email marketing. I don't think anybody in this room has ever been to a previous presentation, but what is the most important thing when it comes to email marketing that you need to do? You just call it out. Sure. Yes. These are all important, but not the very important thing to make it effective and successful. Let me add that in there. Have value in what you're doing. Every conversation needs to be of value. Every bit of social media content you put out needs to provide value. We, as a society, walk away from things and become disinterested in immediately, right? So if you get an email and it's not giving me any type of value, I'm going to mark it as spam. I'm going to delete it, and I'm just going to ignore it, right? So value is the most important thing. I like to think of it as a bank analogy. You're going to create content, and you're going to make deposits. Every piece of content is going to be valuable. I'm going to give you information that helps you get through your day, answers a question, or makes you more interested in having a relationship with me. And I do that a few times, then at some point, you can ask for a withdrawal. That's when you ask for the sale. Hey, Mr. Sales Guy in the back, was that a good analogy? No? Horrible? But just be sure you don't take out more value than you're giving. Don't ask for the sale more than you're giving value. And if you haven't read it yet, pick up a copy of Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's awesome. I don't see email on there, but it definitely does correlate to email. It talks about jab, 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 right hook, value, 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 ask for the sale, deposits, and withdrawal. I see somebody taking a picture of that. It's a great book. I think I read it 2.5 times. Let's talk about the prompts. And again, probably reiterating what has been said by Brett, by Mike, and others that spoke about AI if I wasn't in those sessions. First of all, envision your ideal response. What do you want from these tools? Next is going to be write a specific action-oriented request. What do you want the tool to do? In other words, if I'm creating a subject line, don't just say, create a subject line about X product. You need to give it more context and more action-oriented tasks. Provide context around what it is. Some of my examples are going to be a little bit light today because I wanted to fit it on the slides, but please make it a little bit better, different, longer, whatever it needs to be to give. Well, guys, I hate being right after lunch. Add style and tone, happy, friendly, persuasive. Make sure you're using those terms when you're creating your prompts. And then again, clarify, refine, and phone a friend. Here is from Copy AI. If you want to take a picture of that or scan it, it's 9 email marketing prompts for AI. And I know the deck will probably be shared. And folks at home, hopefully, I don't know if you can see that or not, but just search for 9 generative AI prompts for email marketers. Their SEO for that is pretty good. All right, subject lines. It's the most important thing with an email, and I think somebody mentioned that, right? The subject line, there you go. It's your brand, right? It's how you're going to be perceived. It's the first thing I'm going to see. It's not the most important thing, but it's the first thing I'm going to see when I receive an email. And it determines if I do what with the email? Open it. All right, see, people are waking up. I love this. Here's a picture of an inbox. I'm not going to say anything more about this slide. Just kidding. The first thing you want to do, and we're going to talk about basics before we get to prompts, personalization. Izzy, right? So if I sent you an email and it said, Izzy, we have a great boombox that you might be interested in. Come see us at booth 3 at the State of Search Conference. Since your name is there, you're probably going to see it stand out in the inbox rather than not having personalization. That's why it's important. If I'm walking down the street and somebody calls my name, or maybe you're walking down the street and you hear somebody say, hey, Sam, are you going to ignore them or turn around? Turn around. That's the importance of personalization. How many people are doing A/B testing with email? Raise your hand. How many people want to do it? How many people don't know what it is? Let me explain it. Okay, that's why I asked that question. A/B testing is important because it allows you to get the most impact from your email campaigns. Let's say you have 100 subscribers. I know that's low, but it's a good example. You could take 10% of that list and send them one version of an email. Let's talk about subject lines, the easiest test to do. You create one subject line, maybe it's the boombox. Send that email. Create another version, have a different variation of your subject line, send that to another 10%. So that's 10, 10 equals 20. You let it bake, let it sit, let it marinate for about 24 to 48 hours, depending on your niche, depending on your industry. Come back and look at the opens. If there's not statistical noise, like a 0.5% difference, if it's this one had 4% open rate and this one had 12, you take the one that had the higher open rate and you send it to the remaining 80% of your list. A client I used to work with when I was in client services said to me once, I don't know why everybody's not doing this. It's like getting free opens with every send. And it took me half a second. I was like, oh, I get that. I'm going to get more impact by sending the best performing email to the remainder of my list. You can do it with copy. You can do it with images. Just don't test too many things at once because you won't know what moved the needle. Subject line tests are the best ones to try and use because it helps people open your email. Use emojis in your subject lines. It used to be considered spam and used to get blocked. These days, it's fine. Just don't overload them. Make it relevant to your subject line. Have fun with it. Does it stand out in that example? Do your eyes gravitate to the examples that have subject emojis? Yes. Length. Does anybody know what I mean by this? Your subject line should be 6 to 10 words in length. Otherwise, it may get cut off in the inbox. You may have the most powerful statement in the world, but it gets cut off and it may not make any sense and they're going to not open your email. Pro tip, use pre-header text as an extension of your subject line. It's like what Robin is to Batman. They make up the dynamic duo. Subject line in bold right there. Next to that, the text is your pre-header text or preview text. Years ago, has anybody ever, or have you still received an email that said, can't view this email, click here to view it online? Has anybody ever seen that? That's a waste of real estate, folks. That means you're not selling. You have your subject line, your preview text, gives you that extension. It gives you more opportunity to get people open. Hank, comma, we have really cool sneakers on sale. A lot of people that know me know I like cool sneakers. I wear cool sneakers when I speak. And then the pre-header could be free shipping on orders $30 or more. You give me an extension of my subject line. All right, now let's get into the prompts. That's what you came for. Finally, Hank, we're getting to the prompts. That's what we're here for, AI. We didn't want to learn about email marketing in general. Here's copy.ai. I like it for some things, but I think I'm getting a little bit more confident in doing it on my own. Copy.ai it allows you to like break things down into sections. Your product and brand, describe your product, and then choose a tone. Helps you save typing a little bit with your prompts. Okay, there's a fungus among us, so we need to battle that, right? Cordyceps is in town. Let's go ahead and I'm going to start up an antifungal cream company, right? Because it'll probably get popular and I'll become rich as long as I can stay alive. Here's an example. Product name, Fungus Among Us. Effective fungal cream that is easy to apply and works fast. Friendly tone. And you see some examples there. And then if we look at ChatGPT, can I have somebody in the front row read the top for me? I'm getting a little lazy. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to make sure everybody's awake. But can you read the top line next to my picture? Out loud.
Okay. I am a small business that sells antifungal cream that is the light is like right there.
That is fast acting and applies to the skin easily. It has a pleasant aroma and does not leave any residue. I need 5 email marketing subject lines with 1 emoji that will entice my audience to open my emails. So it did a pretty good job there. I know the folks in the back probably can't see it, but say goodbye to fungal woes. Try our fast acting cream today. Fast relief awaits. Discover our skin-friendly solution. Then, as you probably learned, you can iterate. You don't have to go back and use the same prompt and add on to it. I just added at the bottom, oh, I forgot, I want to add a discount. Please provide 5 more that offer a 10% discount. And it did a pretty good job there. It added a discount in each and every one. Let's move on to body copy. Unless anybody has questions about using it for subject lines. Any questions? I left some time at the end for Q&A, but we can move on. Body copy. Best practices, text to image ratio. You should have at the most 40% images, 40% images, 60% text. Does anybody know why? Your email might be flagged as spam if you have all images or mostly images in your email. Now, somebody that might work for a large organization, we don't have that problem. Well, it's because their emails are trusted. A lot of people engage with their emails. That's okay. Smaller companies adhere to the 60-40 rule. Not really space, but like, in other words, you don't want to have 20 pictures and a paragraph of text. You want to have like 4 paragraphs of text, or let's say 2 paragraphs of text to every image at least. Just make sure there's more text than there is the amount of images in there. Mobile responsiveness. A lot of the email service providers, I call them ESPs, are pretty good at doing this, but now you can use ChatGPT to write you HTML email. So just be careful that whatever you get is also mobile responsive. You know what? I just taught myself something. I need to go back and see if I give it direction to do that, will it? I'm going to try that out. The email size. If your email size, this is if you take your HTML code, even if you're using a drag and drop editor and put it in Notepad or something, and you look at the file size, like you inspect it, if it's over 102 kilobits, it gets cut off in the inbox. You've probably seen it. Click here to view the entire email, right? Has everybody seen that? Why is that bad? That's one thing, but what's worse than that? According to, say, CAN-SPAM in the United States, you have to provide people a way to opt out from your emails, right? So what's happening when the email is truncated? Where are most unsubscribe links located? On the bottom. So if I can't find an unsubscribe link, what am I going to do? Yeah, report as spam. I love this audience. You guys are so intelligent. You're going to report it as spam. And later, I'm going to tell you exactly why that's bad and really horrible. Make sure you have clear headings. I think Mandy this morning spoke about headings, and they're important. Make sure you have headings that make sense. You can use ChatGPT and other tools to help you with your headings as well. Same thing with your CTAs. Have a strong CTA. This all needs to be in your body copy. And when I say CTA, it can be a link, it can be a heading, it can also be your button, right? That's the call to action. All right, so here's one that I asked ChatGPT to create body copy. Create email content for the same product. What did I do? I iterated, right? We have a 3-ounce squeeze tube that is TSA friendly, because if you want to pick some up from me at the end of this talk, you can still take it home on your flight if you're leaving. And it also has a carabiner clip for attaching to purses and bags. We're offering to a buy 3, get 1 free offer. I need a paragraph in a friendly tone with a strong button call to action. That's decent. I think I could do better, but that's a decent prompt. It did pretty well. I know you can't read it. Hopefully when you get the slides, you can see it, but did pretty good with the copy. I probably want to edit a little bit and be critical, right? But it did a pretty good job. I did the same thing with Copy AI. It's just I had to do a little bit less prompting. Let's talk about images. Best practices, text to image ratio. What was that? Test time. Which one needs to be higher? Awesome. Need to have alt text. This is what shows when people don't load images in an email. And more importantly, if they have vision deficiencies or they're blind, the screen reader reads out what's behind there. If you have the cutest picture of a puppy in your email and people can't see it, you need to let them know about it. And don't just put cute puppy, right? For me, it would say fast acting antifungal cream. Don't just put cream, fungal cream, fast acting, or something that's going to be of more relevance to get me to read on the email, or just not hear gibberish, garbage, or anything else through a screen reader. The image size, 200 kilobits is the most. Believe it or not, there's some people that have slow internet connections and may not be able to load your images fast. Dimensions should be 600 wide by 1200 long at the most. And if you have any kind of branding, adhere to your branding. In other words, should I use puppies to sell antifungal cream? Probably not. And then quality images. Make sure you're using quality images because there's nothing worse than grainy images or images that just don't make sense. All images are created equal. Would you agree? Right. So you've been warned because the robots really aren't great with images yet. They're great until they're not. AI tools with creating images. And you know what? I went through and I tested some of the tools. Maybe somebody can help me with my prompts because I think it'll need a little bit of help. But before we do that, let's talk about stock images versus AI. Stock images have been around for a while and you can use those and they're high quality, but they may not have a great picture of antifungal cream. So maybe I do need to use AI for that. But I know this is probably your view for some folks, but I like to use for free Pixabay, Pexels, Unsplash. Those are the three I use there. And then paid, Adobe Stock is pretty good. Getty Images, 123rf.com. And who has a paid version of Canva? Raise your hand. Even a free version has stock images, but the paid version is really good and they have some AI tools built in too. If you didn't know that, go check it out because it's pretty darn awesome. All right. The ones I found to be pretty good are Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and Adobe Firefly. Those are the couple of those I tried. I tried a couple more, but for me, those seem to be the best with different types of tests. Here's Adobe Firefly. Good or bad? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Would you buy antifungal cream based on that image? Down. How about Blue Willow? There's another one if you haven't heard of it. Anybody heard of that one? Is that a little bit better? Yeah. Here's Leonardo.ai. Minus the hallucinations with the labels, it's pretty good. And then Midjourney did really good. This is the paid version of Midjourney. The middle one I like because I can just slap on a label with Photoshop or something or Canva, right? And the other ones are okay as long as I can edit the labels. But it's your choice. If you want to use AI for images, just be warned, they're not perfect. Stock images or your own product images. Hire a photographer or make sure you have a really good phone to take pictures with. And let's get into like not beyond generative AI, but what else can you use AI with email marketing? Because segmentation has been around for a while. And if you don't know what email marketing segmentation is, it's a filtered view of your list. Same 100 subscribers we talked about earlier. Let's pretend you're gathering location information because I'm going to go on the road and I'm going to sell my antifungal cream. And I'm going to have a booth at conferences. I'm going to set up outside of a mall, but I need to know where people are so I can target them effectively. When I have people sign up for my email newsletter, I have a field that asks you what city you live in. When I take that information, I'm able to say, hey, folks that are in Dallas, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to be selling antifungal cream. Hope you can stop by. My pitch would be a lot better than that, but just for the sake of time, I'd be able to target people in different cities as I'm going to them. That is segmentation. I feel like there's 4 pillars of segmentation. The first one's geographic. Where are they? Just like I mentioned, their location. Demographic. If you can get the information about their age, their income, their gender, helps you target people that way. This is my favorite by far, psychographic information. This is deep level stuff. Lifestyle, values, concerns, personalities, attitudes, and AIO, activities, interests, and opinions. A couple of those up there, you're going to say, Hank, how do I get this information? Nobody's going to give me their attitude. They're happy or not. Surveys are usually effective with it, so whether it's incentivized or not, or simply ask people to update their profile. And by asking people, it's in human nature to help people. People want to help one another. If you are transparent with them and you ask them, they might give you that data. I travel around and I speak on email marketing. If you want to come see me, let me know where you live so I can let you know when I'm in town. You're probably more apt to give me that information than me just saying, where do you live? And then there's behavioral. What are they doing and not doing? Are they opening your emails? Are they not opening your emails? Maybe you have your website connected to your email service provider. Did they visit your website? Then you can stalk them. And then last is VIP. I always like to mention this one. We're always chasing after people that don't buy from us and trying to give them, how about 10% off? How about 20% off? Maybe 50? You gonna buy yet? Come on, gonna buy? What about the people that are buying from you? Like say you can do an upsell or a repeat purchase. Why aren't you following up with them? Why aren't they getting discounts? It's like, I don't know if they still do that, but like AT&T Wireless. Your bill's gonna go up 30%, right? And you're gonna get mad about that. But then I find out that Izzy over here can go on the website and move from Verizon and get a cheaper rate than me. That's wrong. That's just wrong. Give your VIPs or give people that do business with you a discount. Two things to remember when it comes to segmentation is data. It's the data you have or can collect, right? It's the geographic location, it's the psychographic information, then there's the behavior. What are they doing? What are they not doing? I sell an antifungal cream that's very effective and fast acting. Help me create an audience, a segment to fine tune my audience. I'm able to ship nationwide in the US and sell in bulk as well as individual portions. So I love how this has my pillars on here, but then it taught me a few things. Demographic, psychographic, I was impressed. Behavioral, problem solution segmentation. Thought that was interesting. Interest-based, social media segmentation, and geographic location. Because remember, I'm going on the road selling my fungal cream. This one surprised me. Seasonal segmentation, not holidays, but if I started working with a client that sells antifungal cream, I might want to do a little research because apparently fungus is seasonal. ChatGPT can help you learn about your audience, folks. Well, let's talk about email automation. Who uses email automation? A couple people, right? And probably using it simply, right? And I want to remind you again of some things, but marketing automation is convincing the right people to need what you have at the right time. And you can do that with automation. You're going to have data, again, so you can trigger things based on what they're doing and not doing. This is almost like creating a segment on steroids, but you're also using the automation, which is almost like AI, to send out your emails. You can use it for a welcome email. You should always be welcoming people to your email list. For the folks that are here that are the sponsors, they might be collecting email addresses and in names. They should follow up with them right away. If you have a form on your website, you should immediately send them a welcome message. Hi, I'm Hank. Glad you signed up to receive information about how to lose that fungus. Hope you might keep us in your inbox. You can unsubscribe at any time. Here's what you can expect. More importantly, you should have a welcome email series, and I'll get to that in a moment. But you can have a nurture series around people that show interest in your product or service. And then again, there's the triggers. Let's talk about me having a sign-up form on my website. I have an audience or a segment. I'm going to send them my welcome email. Welcome, blah, blah, blah. I just already iterated that to you. What you can do now, and I don't have it up here, is I could wait 3 days, see if you've opened that email or not, and do different things. I have an example coming up, but maybe with your welcome email, send a welcome email, wait 3 days. Anyone who did not open, change the subject line, send the same email. We're going to send, after the first email, an emotional appeal email. This is where you say, please buy my cream, you need it. If not, you probably know somebody who does, right? No, the emotional appeal is like to get them to trust you, like you, do business with you, and you're letting them know about your organization. I'm a small business, it's just me. I'm making this product, I'm using AI to create my horrible images, and I'm boxing this and shipping it to you myself. You might feel bad for me and throw me a few bucks. So then, did they open the emotional appeal email? If so, if not, let's resend it with a different subject line. And if so, we can send them a differentiated email. Here's why my antifungal cream is the best. You want my antifungal cream because you're going to get rid of cordyceps. And then later you can send a testimonial email. Hey, here's what the folks that have bought my antifungal cream think about me. They feel relieved. It's free. And they can bring my cream on planes because it's TSA friendly. And then, see what I'm doing here? What am I doing? This is an incentive. Tell me one of the analogies. Jab, 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 right hook. Bank analogy. Then you can check and see if they're customers, right? Most providers, you could say, did they buy from me? Yes or no. If they did, I can add them to a general customer workflow where this is like, here's our return policy. Here's how you get support from us if you need it, etc. Keep them learning about your organization, because if I sell you a 3-ounce packet or tub of antifungal cream, there's a chance you might run out and you might need some more. And then if somebody's not engaging with your email, you can add them to a re-engagement workflow. Try to get them back into the flow. People that are ignoring you. You can use AI to help you with your automation series. I sell an antifungal cream online and need some ideas for email automation. Welcome series, educational content, product recommendations, abandoned cart recovery. Hey, Chris, saw you stop by, put something in your cart. Don't you really need to get rid of that fungus? Here's a coupon. Client reviews and testimonials. And then subscription reminders. I would love to sell people a subscription of my antifungal cream because cha-ching, that just keeps bringing in money. All right. A few words about email deliverability. Some of you know what this term is, some of you might not. But none of this really matters if your email never gets to the inbox. I think somebody mentioned that earlier, like receiving an email, right, or getting an email address. But if your emails are not seeing the light of day because they're going to spam or not being delivered at all, what does all this mean? Nothing. Every time you send an email, there are good things and bad things that happen to an email, and it affects something called your domain reputation. Somebody tell me their website name. Everydaypower.com. Every time you send an email from that domain, it's being graded. I'm going to use Google because it has the strictest algorithm there is. Let's say 50% of those people mark your message as spam or do something negative. It's going to hurt your reputation. Every time good things happen, it brings up your reputation. I call it a credit score. If you have a good credit score, more of your emails go to the inbox. You have a bad credit score, you don't get repossessed. No, it goes to spam. All right, quiz time. What are some good things that happen when you send an email? Positive signals, let's put it in that term. I already mentioned one. What are good, like actions? What are good actions? Click, call to action, open. Not really. Reply, forward, starring. TINS, T-I-N-S, write that down or make a mental note of that. T-I-N-S. This is not spam. If somebody goes in their spam folder and marks it not spam, that is a very, very high form of engagement, especially to Google. That's why you'll always see, sometimes our emails go to the spam box. Please check your spam box. But how can they check their spam box if they're not getting it and you're trying to tell them to go there? You may want to put that on your sign-up form. Or if you're a salesperson and you're actually physically talking to them and said, I want to send you an email, you might want to tell them, hey, sometimes our emails may go to spam. This is the way the robots react. Please take it out of spam if you can. But that is the highest form of engagement. Let's talk about the bad things. What are bad things or negative things that happen to an email? Action. Marked as spam. It's one of the highest. Deleting. Unsubscribe. Soft bounces pretty much don't hurt you that much, but hard bounces do. That was good. You guys did really great. I'm proud of you. But yeah, those are the good and bad things. And that's what affects your list health, your domain reputation. Years ago, it used to be you use somebody like iContact, my sister brand. Yes. Yes. Gmail especially, they're looking at, let's say only 3% of this room is opening my email I sent to everyone. And consistently, the same people are ignoring it. Yes, it hurts my reputation. That's why list health is important. I showed the re-engagement campaign earlier. It's almost like Google trying to figure out their SEO algorithm. Google's never going to tell you. I don't want to get too nerdy, but there's something called a feedback loop. A lot of the major providers, Microsoft and Yahoo, they send back service providers. My sister company, iContact, who does email marketing, we get those reports, and that's why we can tell you how many people from those domains marked as spam, unsubscribed. Google doesn't provide that information. Because they have their strict algorithms and they want to protect their users, right? Because they want them to pay money down the road or right away. But yeah, re-engagement campaign, okay? That's a loaded question, but industry average should be around 20%. It could be higher for different industries or lower. I didn't fully expect that question, but when I remember the domain that you can go to get that, I'll let you know. But there is a site you can go to that breaks it down by industry. Okay, yeah. But 20, if you're doing 20, pat yourself on the back and then go use ChatGPT to create better subject lines. So re-engagement campaign. Some of you are not opening my emails because you don't need antifungal cream. What I might want to do is do a re-engagement campaign, series of 3 emails. If you just delete them right away, I'll pat you on the back. I'll probably buy you lunch because that's the right thing to do as a marketer. But you could say, hey, Sam, I noticed you haven't been opening my email. Maybe you don't need antifungal cream, but maybe you want to buy some as a gift. He might ignore that. Send another one. Are you breaking up with me? I don't know about you, but if I got that email, I'm going to open it, right? Are you breaking up with me? Question mark. You're going to see why I want to break up with you. Sam, I'm trying to reach you. You know, you may not love me, but nobody loves cordyceps. And, you know, at some point you might need antifungal cream. Can I keep emailing you? You're going to ignore that. And the last one is, here, Sam, here's the divorce papers. Bye. See you later. Remove them. And you know what? You can do all of that with automation. You can automate all that. So you don't even have to touch it. List health also is bounces. Bounces are a very important part of email deliverability. That's why list verification is important. A healthy list helps you get into the inbox, helps all that great content you're creating with AI be seen by humans to create a conversion. Real-time form validation is a thing, folks. A lot of people don't know about this. You can stop invalid, disposable, and fake accounts that sign up. You can also prevent hard bounces and correct typos and syntax issues, just like this example here. Somebody might misspell Gmail. There's tools out there, which Kickbox offers one of them, where you can actually check to see if it's valid or not before they even sign up. Because if you put that in your system and send to it, it's going to create a bounce. A 3% bounce rate is usually bad. Anything above and beyond that's really hurting you. Below that is a lot better. Love to see it around a 1%. You can check email addresses upon creation, your e-commerce system during email signups and lead capture. But you can also check a list of maybe customers you haven't dealt with in 6 months. You can upload them to certain tools, and you can check to see if they're valid emails. What Kickbox reports, the tool that we have, is if emails are deliverable. If they are undeliverable, so that would be the ones that are just invalid, domains don't exist because it was misspelled, syntax issues, role address information. It's important to know, especially if you're in sales, am I sending to somebody at marketing ad or info at? Because a lot of times, you know what's dangerous about that? I just thought about that too. Well, not thought about it, but put in this presentation. You may be a marketer and you're at a company and you're checking the marketing at. You sign up for my newsletter at marketing at, then Izzy takes over because you left the organization, or you won the lottery and you're now on a Caribbean beach somewhere, right? You're not going to remember signing up for that email. And when you see my email and you don't need antifungal cream, what are you going to do? Or mark it as spam. You could also look for risky emails. These are ones that we don't know if they're valid or not. Just we could check to see if they're disposable email addresses. Maybe I don't want to send to people with disposable email addresses. And then there's a way to detect if they're accept all or free domain, like Gmail, Yahoo, etc. We also have deliverability consultation. In other words, if one of your clients or you want to have more of your emails go to the inbox, we can help you. You can just go to kickbox.com and go to that section if you want to. But more importantly, everybody sat through my horrible presentation today. And I believe in list hygiene so much that I want to give you not 100 when you sign up for Kickbox. There's no strings attached to this at all. 1,000 free validation credits. This does expire at the end of the year. But I believe in keeping your list healthy. So I was approved to give you 1,000 free validation credits. Hopefully folks online can see that. If not, contact me. Google me. I think I have really good SERPs because if you Google my name, Hank Hoffmeyer, I take up about 2 or 3 pages. I think that's pretty good. But I want everybody here to start using AI to go from The Last of Us to all of us creating AI in the future. Now, normally I would say thank you. Do you have any questions? But let's talk about email marketing. There's no bad questions. There's no bad critique of my presentation style. Whatever you have, throw it at me.
How is that impacting the health?
Right. I used to tell my clients, my job's not done until somebody buys something. You can open an email, but then you got to get them to click on a link. Then you got to get them to convert, right? So don't look at just opens. Opens is a good way to see how well you might be doing. The bad thing about those automatic opens from Apple and Google sometimes too, because they're caching images, is I can't tell if you're actually not opening. So you may not be included in my report of people that did not open. That's why I say use clicks. Or more importantly, click to open. That's the measurement you want to look at. You're 3 to 4% click to open. Now clicks could be higher, right? Because it's just a click, but who opened and then clicked? And that's what you should be using for your list hygiene more and more, is that because somebody would have to open and click. And if they didn't, then they can be considered re-engagement. Good question. Next.
From your perspective, the value that you were talking about, like, because that obviously everything on sending was kind of,
Right.
What would be the value for me to, really kind of treat it as a value? You know what I mean?
I wonder, does anybody know, like on average, how many blog posts per week or per month companies would put out? 1 a month, right? Yeah, that sounds about right to me. But email, sometimes you can send more, right? Maybe 5 a week, or 1 a week. Or if you're, if you're a general like consulting person, you should do it once a month, right? But if you're e-commerce, if you're Macy's, you're gonna be sending out almost every day. How do you give value every single day? That's why we need to be using these AI tools to help us create this content. But more importantly, and I know it was mentioned earlier today, I can create an email and think it's the greatest email in the world, and I'm going to sell so much antifungal cream. But if I don't look at it through the lens of my customer, get feedback from your customers. Don't be afraid. Hey, I've been sending you emails for 3 months now, Izzy. Can you take this quick survey to let me know if my emails are giving you value? Don't be afraid to do that. A lot of times we have people look at websites. When we create websites, we get second opinions, et cetera. But why are we not doing that with emails? Because we need to crank them out. That's the problem. But try to get into the mindset of your subscribers. Now, I might have antifungal cream, but then sell socks, right? Or something. I'm going to have 2 different audiences. I need to treat them differently. That's why segmentation comes in, or separate lists. One for socks, one's for antifungal cream. So just try to do your best if you're sending a lot, but you really need to be on your toes if you're sending only once a month, because there's more opportunity for me to ignore it, mark it as spam, or unsubscribe. Always tell people to unsubscribe if they're not getting value, because you do not want them to mark it as spam. That is a more negative signal than unsubscribing. It would have to be like, hey, I'm in this industry, I do this, and what is the best tool? I've worked with iContact for 13 years, and we're geared towards small business. I think that we're still priced effectively. We're simple, easy to use, and we still have phone support. That's why I would think for small business, iContact's a good fit. Now, if you use Salesforce and you have an unlimited bank account, Pardot's going to be great for you, right? But we also have iContact for Salesforce, which is cheaper. But then there's MailChimp if you need a lot of integrations. Constant Contact has event marketing in theirs, except so it just depends on what you need. And I believe to this day, I think there's over 300 email service providers, and they are all going to meet the different needs of different people. Like people that do not general sales, but people who sell information online, like courses and stuff like that, they're going to use an all-in-one. It's a CRM, email service, and then some other add-ons and different things too, ways to host the content, etc. In the back, there's one, and I'll get to you. I don't think it's as important because we have phones at our fingertip. We're always checking our email, but they still say avoid Mondays and Fridays. Fridays, we're trying to wrap up. We want to go home. We're not going to read emails, especially with the younger generations. You see all these TikToks around like, oh, well, that can wait till Monday, right? It's true. And then Monday, you're trying to dig out of everything you got on Friday afternoon and over the weekend. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are usually good. And they say like 11 and 1 p.m. But then again, you catch the person at the right time. Some service providers are pretty smart. We have a tool that we look at the last time you opened. Next time we send you an email, we send it around that time. But if that changes, then we adapt as well. So I don't know if that's AI or not, but that's the thing we do. I don't know if any other providers do or not. But that's a good question. Depends on your audience too. And especially, say I'm a blogger and I'm like kind of viral. I could send it at 3 o'clock. People are probably going to check it, right? And be like, I just couldn't wait. I want more Hank in my life, right? It just depends on what you're doing, what you're selling. A lot of these conversations are around what do you do? How do you do it? What kind of product or service do you have? But hopefully I helped you a little bit with that.
When you mentioned the bounce rate, like our open rate's pretty high. It would be like, we've been averaging around 42, 45, but we only send it out once a month, and probably almost everybody on our list almost physically knows us. It's probably a little different. But we're around 5,000 or 6,000. But I noticed you mentioned if something's not delivered, it's bouncing. We have a much higher bounce rate. Should I just be going back or removing anything that's bouncing?
If you're using an email service provider, that should automatically be happening. Now, if it's a soft bounce, the inbox is temporarily full, there's an issue with the server. If that's happening more than like 5 to 10 times, go ahead and remove them, right? But that brings up a good point. Make sure you set up authentication. This is crucial. First one's called SPF, Sender Policy Framework. And this is something that some providers do automatically. If not, you need to do it. Like say you're using GoDaddy, you go to GoDaddy, you set this up. Your provider will give you this information. It basically says that I am who I am when I'm sending this email. And if I'm using iContact, just because I work for them, does iContact have permission to send my email, or is it being spoofed? But so basically, it's like an authentication key that you put on your domain to say we're allowed to send email for you. And that's trusted. Gmail and Yahoo, we're going to crack down on this come January. Hard. Second one is DKIM. Here, you guys are quizzing me. Domain keys identified mail. That means that that email has not been altered in transit. In other words, has not been injected with spyware or anything like that. And that is another form of trust by the recipient servers. The last one's DMARC. No, I don't remember that one off the top of my head. I don't want to butcher it, but that basically says, what do we do if SPF and DKIM do not exist? Do we ignore it? Do we reject it? Or do we accept it? I would say set it up if you can. It's not necessary. It basically stops people from spoofing you. Like you may have gotten an email from your own company. It's not from somebody in your company. That means they spoofed you. So DMARC actually stops that server for other people. Other questions? That's disposable, yeah. It depends on what you mean by impact, but there's a reason why people are doing that, right? It's because they want to get that 20% coupon and they don't want you to spam anymore. Oh, here's a trick. Here's a trick. Flip the tables. You're not a marketer anymore. You're a consumer. You're going to go and provide your email address for somebody. If you use Gmail or your domain's on Gmail, this is a little trick. You can see if people are selling your email list. If I go to Macy's.com and I sign up, I'm going to put Hank.Hoffmeyer plus Macy's at gmail.com. And then what that's going to do is every time I get it, it'll still be there. But if I get an email from JCPenney and it has the Macy's email, I know they stole my information. Or you can use it for labels. Is there another speaker getting ready to get set up? Joe, you getting ready? Okay. Good, more questions? We're at time, but come see me in the hall. Glad to help out. Thank you, virtual folks, and thank you.